So selling us the story of we are always against ourselves. No, we were taught to be against ourselves, right? We were taught to see the next black person as an enemy. And so I think, again, like we have to learn the history. We have to understand it so we don't allow the story that has been taught to us to dictate how we see ourselves and how we treat one another.
So it starts with a larger global love and appreciation for black people as a whole, understanding that we are.
Do you know someone from Haiti? A friend, a coworker maybe? Now, did the American media get it right? When you go out to lunch with your friend, do they hang out in a parking lot and eat trees or maybe try to catch someone's pet? Or do you worry about this voodoo spell they might cast on you? Now, have you given any thought to why the colonizers paint the first free black nation on earth as savages? Not even a little bit. There is obviously a clear divide between Haiti and a lot of other predominantly black nations, but there shouldn't be. This conversation aims to explain why. It's the history lesson you didn't even know you needed, but here it is. As black people all over the globe, there is so much more that unites us. I am joined for the first time on the pod by Zoel Murphy, first generation American, Stanley Jean, and both myself, your host, Stefan, and this last guest, Mr. Mark Montplaisir, were born in Haiti and had to learn to navigate through the bullying, the shame, the stigma that came with growing up Haitian in the States. You will learn so much from this episode. Welcome to Manhood Matters. Let's get to it. Making a choice, speak less, great, no sugar to cope. Black man's lens, each word a keynote. Mental storms, physical strife, hustling hard, the pulse of life, race love, and entrepreneurs.
Why don't we just go around introducing ourselves real quick?
I'm Stanley, of course. I'm a married guy. I'm a father. I have two girls. I'm back in school, trying to go into the route of going into medicine right now. So pray for me. It's a journey, but in the next year or so, I should be all good.
That's what's up. Well, my name is Mark Montplaisir. I am an author, organizational psychologist, also getting my PhD.
Yes, sir.
Right now. Also training specialist, health and wellness coach.
You do it all.
Public speaker.
You can tell he's comfortable with it.
Right. So really happy to be here, man, and being in Atlanta. From New York, hanging out with these guys. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this conversation.
My man.
My name is Zoel Murphy, and I am a retired Atlanta police sergeant.
Nice.
So recently retired. I've been out of it for probably about 2 years, coming up on 2 years, and found myself now in the film industry just by accident or luck or. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It
was meant to be.
Synchronicity.
Yes. And so everything fell into place. My wife and I are both into it now and learning just at light speed, it seems like. So I'm grateful for the privilege of being here with you, brothers. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. The reason we wanted to have this conversation is because I've lived through it, and I continue to see it too, where there's a lot of prejudice against Haitians. Now, I almost expected when I see it from whether it be Americans or white people specifically, but when I see it from fellow islanders, when I see it from other black people, then it's just like, what are we doing? What's going on here? Right. And I remember very specifically, like my first brush with it, I get to school, I know 3 words of English. This girl, she looks at me, she goes, "What are you?" So I was like, I didn't know how to say, "What do you mean?" So I just kept on shrugging my shoulders, right? Like, I was like, I'm not.
That's universal.
Yeah. I was like, she should understand that. But I knew what she was saying. And she goes, "Are you black?" Am I black?
Right.
So there was another guy who understood. He's Haitian, but he was brought up here and trying to translate. I was like, no, I understand what she's saying, but I don't understand the question. What do you mean I'm black?
Yeah.
And then she goes to him like, is he black or is he Haitian? So then I said, I'm Haitian, also black.
Right.
But I understand obviously, as I matured, I get where she totally could not connect the dots.
Right.
And in her mind, being black is a nationality, where in reality, it's obviously not.
Right.
But in their mind, it's like, no, black is a title that we have as African Americans.
yeah.
You're something else, but you're not black, which obviously makes zero sense, right? We're all from African descent. I like that term that you use. You use the frame African descent.
Yeah, I didn't want to use black or
Black or
white.
African American, but it's all African descent.
Yeah.
I once read something. It said the only difference between a Jamaican, Haitian, all these different black countries is a boat.
Boat drops, yeah.
Is where the boat drop you off, right?
Right.
My brother could have been on that boat and he gets dropped off in Jamaica and I dropped off in Haiti.
Right.
Right? It's the same people.
Yeah.
Growing up, there was so much stigma, which the media propagated against Haitians, to where I grew up with a lot of prejudice. Even at the hand of what should be my brothers. So I dealt with it in high school a lot. Unfortunately for me, my accent was too thick to hide the fact that I was Haitian.
Right.
So it's not like, because there were a lot of guys in my school
Yeah.
that would pretend they were not Haitian.
Yep.
Mark with a K.
Right.
Mark with a C is Haitian. Mark with a K is American. So you can get away with it. You know what I mean? I kind of got away with it with the name because
Alexander.
they would pronounce it Alexander instead of Alexandre, and they would say Stephen instead of Stefan. So I was like, oh man, I sound American as hell. Yeah. Stephen Alexander.
So capitalizing on ignorance.
Man, the first year that I was here, I went by Stephen Alexander for a whole year. Then the next year, another teacher mispronounced my name and called me Stefan. I was like, oh, that's great. Even better.
Cool. Yeah.
That's closer.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I'm Stefan Alexander, still mispronounced totally. And I went by that all the way through high school, in fact. All 4 years. It wasn't until after high school that I started finding myself and whatnot. So we'll talk about each of our experiences individually and just how tough they were, how bad they were, and what today looks like. But when did you come here, Mark?
So I was 17 when I came in 1999.
That's crazy.
That's right there.
Bro, you have no accent.
I mean, I can hear it, but
If I'm really paying attention, there'll be a word here and there. It's kind of like me. Like people tell me I don't sound Haitian until I start speaking fast enough. They're like, gotcha.
I
I can hear it with each of you. Yours is a bit difficult.
He's born here.
That's what people say, but I could hear it.
I know.
hear
I'm like,
myself.
I can hear
It might be a way you speak a certain way, you use certain words, but there's no word that you use that's going to give you up.
Maybe not. But for me, I was born here.
Right.
I was only Haitian at home. That's it, right? So
Yeah, he was one of the lucky ones.
But the last name was Gene.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. They got me.
Yeah, you Haitian.
It is what it is. You can't run away from that.
You were Haitian.
It was cool. Steph is a little older than me, so he experienced discrimination, if I want to call it, want to call it that. But for me, it was just like urban kid. They knew, but it wasn't a big deal because my building was like the UN. There was the Jamaicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Haitians, whatever. So it was cool. But going to school, like we all did the same things. But then again, I still knew I didn't want to bring a Haitian flag to school. Right?
Yeah.
That wasn't going to work out. Because again, you want to fit in. Like I was telling Steph, saying you're Haitian is a ticket right out of that group. So it's just like, that's what it was. But when I got to high school, it was like 1993, 94, Fuji's came out. I was
You
cool.
was straight.
I was cool.
By the time...
Thank you, Wyclef, right?
Thank you, Wyclef. That is one thing we can say. When he came out, he was so proud of being Haitian. And then he was cool because he had the music and everything else. And everyone started admitting they were Haitian. All the dudes that I knew in high school, they were like, oh, I'm Haitian too. Right. Oh, I'd run into them. I'm like, nigga, you try to jump me with the Jamaicans. You tried to jump me. Like when they came after me, you were in that group pretending you didn't speak a word of Creole.
I got a story for you.
Yeah. and then here we are 4 years later. He sees me because then I got into music, right? So now I'm playing compa. I'm in a band. I'm in music, and he comes to the party, and he's like, comes up to me. Hey, we were in high school together. I'm like, yeah, I remember you.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? He's like, I'm
asshole.
Haitian. Oh, really? Oh, you're Haitian. Okay, cool.
I was in high school.
Yeah.
And then there was this kid, this Haitian kid, but everybody thought he was American. And one day his mom showed up.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man, his mom showed up speaking Creole.
Blew him up.
Asking for him. They were like, wait, you Haitian? He was like,
my parents are.
My parents.
That's the answer.
And I'm like,
I'm Haitian.
And I was like, is that bad to be Haitian in America?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, like I didn't even know I was black until I came to America.
True.
I thought I was just Haitian.
Yeah. So I started out by talking about the distinction, right?
Yeah.
But talk about that and explain it to people, because I didn't grow up with that complex of white people are superior. So I could give a shit about you being white. I don't give a damn.
When I came here, right, the first time I experienced any like racism, my dad and I, we got on a bus. We were going downtown Boston. And then this white lady was sitting, there was a empty seat next to her, and I went and sat down. She looked at me in disgust and got up. So I looked at my dad, I'm like, what happened? And my dad was like, don't worry about it. That's just racism, right? That's just how they are. And that was my first time like, wow, okay, well, I'm different. I don't know how far back you want to take it to history, right?
Yeah.
If we look at, when the, Dessalines, they fought the French and we became independent in 1804. And after that, there was a division between light-skinned folks in the South and dark-skinned folk in the North. And so you had,
Alexandre Pétion.
And then Henri Christophe, right? Yeah. So Alexandre Pétion was in charge of the light-skinned folks, right? In the South, right?
The mulattoes, yeah.
What the mulattoes, exactly. Yeah. And then you had
Dessalines or Christophe?
Not Christophe, right?
Christophe, yeah.
Because Dessalines was already dead at that point, right?
Correct.
And so you had him being in charge of the dark-skinned folks, right?
Yeah.
And so the division was the mulattoes had all the power. And so America used to control Haiti. Like in the 1915s. Yeah.
Real quick, when it comes to that, so what happened? This was a forced invasion. Let's be clear on that, right? So the Marines invaded. We didn't invite this motherfucker.
No.
So they basically invaded Haiti and said... It's almost like there was a slap in the face, like, how dare you be this little free Negro country who beat the French?
Yep.
So now that we are all messed up, we don't have the power anymore or whatever it was, they sent the Marines down there and they invaded Haiti.
It was a coup.
And then took over the country for some 25 years.
So, it wasn't that long.
Okay.
So I think so, like 1915 to 1934. How long is that? Almost 20 years?
15, 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So after that, Haiti just was in disarray.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily about color. It was more like, okay, well, if you are in charge of all the resources, if we're being treated as if we're peasants, then we have to fight for more. So the story is that the dark-skinned folks were hateful towards the light-skinned folks. Not quite what it was. It was more like, well, you treat me as if I'm not Haitian,
right?
Because I don't speak French, because I don't have all the resources, I don't have money, because it's almost like they see light-skinned folks as superior. You have money, you have
they have the means.
you have beauty, right?
Right.
The standard of beauty, light-skinned,
like
soft
America.
hair,
Right,
just like America.
Exactly. It's all based on European, standards.
Correct.
And so that created a fight where, if we go forward, when Papa Doc was like 1957 to 1971, right? So
I know my history, baby.
Yeah, you guys,
that's great.
Don't give me my history
that's
lesson.
great.
So the original Papa Doc.
Right. So Papa Doc was like the common Haitian. Like he was won the vote based on the fact that he was for everybody, right?
Correct. The people's president. Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Educated too.
And then America was against it because he created the army. They couldn't just go in whenever they wanted. So when he died, his son took over. Baby Doc, he was 19.
Disaster.
Right. Again, in the 80s, the dark-skinned folks revolted again. It's like, well, I'm still being treated as if I'm nothing. Things like 1984.
1986.
86? Okay.
Right. And I know that exact date because that's
good.
when I had to leave the country. There was chaos.
Right.
So in February of 86, Baby Doc was exiled.
Yep.
And a week later, I was on a plane.
Got it.
Wow.
Right. So so the dark-skinned folks.
you were among those who had status.
Right.
Say it with your chest.
Life was good.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah,
the case.
Okay. But if it even seemed like you had the means, right, you were in control, then they were against you. But again, it wasn't because of color. It was more like you a representation
of that government that had fallen.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so so that created this division in Haiti. And after that, again, we went back to disarray. The country was just in chaos.
I think there's a big piece that really matters here as well, Mark. It's the fact that at every step of the way, there's always been foreign interference.
Yes.
The major powers have always infiltrated the government and placed their puppets in place.
Right.
So because if the country is killing itself from within, it's easy to dominate from without. Haiti's demise comes from two things. Number one, it comes from the fact that Haitians are the first black republic. Right. We dared to become free.
I know.
You have to understand that is an assault and a slap in the face of white people.
Yeah.
We are right here
Yeah.
in America's turf. So you look at this big, great, giant nation, and then this little black republic that dared to defy.
We're getting punished by everybody.
Yeah, while they still have slavery, they still had slavery for another 60 years in this country. We're a free black republic. We're telling black Americans, if you can escape and come over here, pull up, we got you, we're here.
Yeah.
And not only did we do that, 10 years after, I want to say 1815, because 1804 Haiti gets their independence. 1815, Pétion, he's named the father of Pan-Americanism. If you guys know anything about South America and their history and their independence, none of them were free. Right?
Yeah.
So then there's a guy, Simon Bolivar, right? So he's the main guy who freed all of the Americas, right? He's lost his battle. So he gets on his ships with him and a few soldiers, and they escape, running for their lives. They left South America. He ends up in Haiti, not looking for a way to go back, looking for asylum. Pétion at the time, he's like, nah, man, we just fought the French. We just beat them. So how about I give you ships, weapons, everything that you need,
and go back out there.
Back out there and fight. So he replenished him, gave him everything that he needed, and then gave him strategies and everything else. And he went back out there, freed his people. He goes, under one condition: you can't just free your country. You have to go and free every other country in South America, because all we wanted to do was fight, against the colonizers. There's a bust and a statue of him both in Colombia and Ecuador.
That's pretty dope.
That's
that red and blue fabric, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
On all those flags.
That's right. That's right. I say all that to say colonizers are vexed, and they imposed embargoes on Haiti. We could not trade. So then, what good are your resources? Now, this is not the one you remember. This is one from before. We're talking like 1800s. Yeah, you could have all the coffee and all the shit in the world,
but we're not buying them.
We're not buying them. You can't trade.
We can't trade. So you're stuck. And then the country started to cannibalize itself.
And we also had to pay friends, a lot of money.
For
not being slaves.
So we're dying from within, right? And then Friends comes back and says, now that we kind of regrouped, we're going to come back and reinvade your country and attack, basically go to war with you, unless you pay us some billions of dollars because you took away our resources and our property, which is you, a bunch of slaves. You're our property, and then you have to pay for your own freedom. So we paid it.
Sounds about what?
So we paid this debt of billions, which
like
back then, we're talking about...
So it's like $500 million, which equates to like 21 billion
today. So they owe us that money. As far as I'm concerned, they owe us every last dime of that money that we have to pay back to Haiti today.
Agreed.
People ask questions about Haitians. Why is there so much trouble in your country? Based on everything I just said. So there's that. And then anytime someone steps up who would do something positive, they get killed.
They get drowned. Some way, somehow.
They get killed. And they get killed by foreign governments who come in and do what they got to do because you shouldn't be what you are.
Right. I don't think we'll ever have true stabilization in Haiti. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I don't know. I'm more hopeful.
Yeah, I am too. But
But
the reality is,
it
man,
seems bleak from here.
I think it's going to come from outside of the country. Well, I don't mean from like foreigners. I think it's going to come from people who are Haitians who are born outside of Haiti, who go back to Haiti. Because even if you look at social media, like you look at certain people that are really willing to throw themselves on the front line and fight for Haiti. These are born, raised Americans and whatnot, and they're fighting for social justice. That'd be the only kind of people who'd go back with financial support if they had it. But out of the ashes, I don't see anyone rising from Haiti itself, from within, to do what they got to do.
May I ask a question about that? Just sitting back and listening. What is the solution in your opinions? What is the return route for Haiti to be able to recover from years of just being punished for being free?
I like that you use that word. That's exactly what it is.
Punished, right?
Being punished for being free.
Yeah. We've gotten so far. And even when we look at our people, the mindset, the lack of education, the hunger, lack of jobs. We would need good leadership. I think that's one. Having somebody who, one, wants to see Haiti win, who cares about the people, and also who knows how to manage resources and not just hoard resources for themselves, right? Having folks who care, like deeply care about the well-being of Haitians, right? How can I help my people? And not just want to be in power. We can have a good leadership in power, right, in position.
Right.
But if the Haitians don't feel good about it, we can get very emotional.
Oh no, big time.
Right, and part of that is because we don't have resources. A lot of folks are hungry.
Right.
And when you have that, it's easy. It's easy to lose yourself and say, you know what, we're going to fight to get what we want. And we do have that history. But I think it will take a shift where Haitians understand, you know what? I get it, coming from a leader. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
It may not happen in our generation. But the goal is to get on the same page, understand that Haiti can change, can get better, but we have to do it together. And I will be your leader to guide this process, but I can't do it alone. So if you can get Haitians to be hopeful about change while you actually creating tangible work, resources for them to actually see the change, I think we can get there.
Burna Boy was just being interviewed. I don't know if you guys seen this interview because he has,
Joey?
Yeah, so he has this song with Joey Duet Filet, which is the most popular song ever, right?
I know.
So he was being interviewed about it, but what he said about Haitians, I think, is something. I think that before we're Haitian, we're black folks.
Right.
In my opinion, I think before we're Haitian, we're black.
We're
right?
Africans.
Exactly, we're Africans, and before that, we're human. So it's like, so to me, like Haitian just comes like way later. There's a certain unification among black people that has to happen.
Yeah.
I think all over the world, it needs to be a global movement.
Yes.
So that when a foreign power wants to, again, put their foot on a little black country's neck, other people can be like, well, no, we're not doing that, right? And instead of joining the media and, oh, look at Haiti, ha, and making fun of it, or like I said, or like we grew up in the 80s and 90s, watching that stuff, it needs to be more of a unification. But anyway, this is what he said. Let me see if I can play it for you guys.
Now you bring Joey Duet Filet out at your concert in France. I'd love. What did that feel like for him? Like, how? I just need to know, because this is such, like, in my view, this is a very big moment, right? Because I feel like Haitian people don't get the acknowledgement and the love and the embrace.
Which they should. They should probably get more love than everyone else because they started the revolution.
That's right.
So really, we should all be paying homage.
Very thankful.
We should all pay homage to them, and they still suffer for it to this day.
That's right.
So really, we should all rally behind them to make sure that those consequences that they say they are being imposed on them for being the leaders of the revolution don't fly.
That's right.
Because we're so powerful and we're so many. So why are we letting what's happening in Haiti happen? You know what I mean? Why are we letting what's happening in Congo happen?
That's right.
Here you are, you have a Nigerian who was looking at it and seeing Haiti as the leaders of the revolution, right? They started it. I'm not saying it to be like every time someone sees me
bow down.
Walking with a Haitian flag.
Respect, buddy.
How many times are you gonna say thank you to me?
Right.
But at the very least, stop shitting on them. Right. Because again, like me growing up in New York, I will say I dealt with a lot of racism from Long Island.
We know.
Yeah.
We know.
What does that mean, Stan?
No, because Long Island is known for that. You know what I mean?
So I was Long Island. I was dealing with that stuff. But when it happened, either it went over my head or it was what it was. It was expected. But when it came from our people, whether it was a Haitian pretending not to be Haitian or a Jamaican attacking me or a Trini or some other dude or some Hispanic kid, and all they need to find out was you're Haitian. I remember when they found out I'll Be Sure was Haitian. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember it being jacked up, man. And all of the things that they said about Haitians during that time. Right. You guys remember the 4-H thing?
4-H, what is that?
So, in fact, let me grab mine.
That's what I'm talking about, the AIDS.
Yes, it is. It is that.
Okay.
So there were 4 countries that were initially accused of having created AIDS, and that's where AIDS came from. Yeah. This is early 80s, right? Early 80s, and they're like, AIDS came from Haiti, and we're like, what the fuck? We're a clean little organic country, bro. We got nothing to do with your labs and everything that you got going on, but Haiti was accused of being one of those things.
Yeah. To me, this is crazy. This happened. I was alive, but a lot of this is brand new to me. So
you were a baby.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I was too.
Yeah. When were you born?
Wait,
79.
I'm 43.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years, 81.
Yeah. 82.
82.
Yeah.
So for me, living here, so America is a well-oiled machine, all right? They narrate what they want to narrate, right? So now when it comes down to Haiti and what kind of information they allow, it's mostly negative. Yeah. Everyone we have to contribute $1 for these Haitian kids, this, that, and the other. So we were never looked at as something to be proud of, right?
Correct.
That's number one. So I'm born here. I'm Haitian. I'm really Haitian.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know half of what you said earlier.
True.
All I know is in 1804 we were the first.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Big ups. But understanding how the external forces plays till today, still playing a role.
Sure. Yeah.
It does something to us. So now, if I didn't know, I'm pretty sure the African American or the Jamaican probably didn't
True.
know in
Exactly.
school. So it's not taught.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's exactly right.
So if I'm not here to hear it, I wouldn't know. So
Right.
therefore, it's hard to say in school you're Haitian and be proud of it
Right.
because there's nothing to be proud of according to the
Exactly.
story and the narrative of America and
because
CNN.
us on the news as Haitians
Correct.
have AIDS.
the
Haitians
Haitians
created
are
AIDS.
dirty,
So how do I go to school
yeah.
the next day? I'm a 14, 15-year-old kid who's already got language as
Oh,
this
yeah,
is my
you crust.
dude. I'm messed up.
You're ashamed of
I'm over
yourself.
there
You
like
don't even
yeah,
wanna show up.
and also I'm not this big intimidating guy
Right.
where because there's a couple of Haitians men, them straight dudes with no shoes and shit.
What did we learn in school? Where we won. When I say we black people, in y'all's case, the Haitians, like, where did we have a story where we did something amazing in school and then that victory was celebrated? I don't even remember anything in public school even close to that.
No, it
that
wasn't talked about, man.
Even the stories of Harriet Tubman, they didn't share with us that she was a spy and carried a gun. We didn't.
So that's
yeah.
the thing. Like that's the issue, right? And I think is it George Santayana who said, "Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it." And I think that's one of our issues in the black, not just Haitians, right?
Right.
In the black community, we don't know our history.
We don't.
Right? Yeah. And we end up treating each other the way the masters treated us.
Exactly.
Right.
There you go. You should sit it right there.
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
We treat them the way we were treated because as soon as we get the leg up, we think, oh, well.
Exactly. We're better.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
racism at some point is fabricated, is created because, well, look, you're the poor whites, but at least you're not black. So you're better than that.
That's what they used them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Bacon's
the same thing.
rebellion.
They look at all the blacks and all the Americans like,
Yeah.
well, at least you're not Haitian.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it just keeps
Manipulation.
going.
Yeah.
Haitians
Absolutely.
looked at each other and say, well, shit, at least I'm not dark skinned.
Right.
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 And it's all
And it goes.
back.
It just,
it's that same,
So I always said, look, if we were all we all came from, let's say, one giant continent where there was no break, and we all looked the same heights, we would still, as humans, find a way to discriminate against somebody else to feel superior by just being born into this.
Yeah, right. I mean, because it used to be fan like last names, right? You're from this tribe,
Correct.
Right. Then you have money. Then you royal, right? Right. It always existed in Africa. I took this one course, I think it was the African American experience in college. It blew my mind. We were taught to be the way we are today, right? White folks will tell you Africans sold Africans to white people.
They love saying that shit.
That was not the case.
So I didn't
was
want.
not the
I didn't want to break up the storyline,
yeah.
but that's not. It's not
That
the
was
case.
not
It was
the
never
case.
the case.
No.
never the
So,
case.
so like they went with guns and alcohol and threatened one tribe. If you don't give me access to this, I'm gonna let the other tribe. I'm gonna give the other tribe guns,
Right.
to come destroy you. Right. And so with that, it's like, well, I don't want you to annihilate my tribe. Then, I'm going to sell the other tribe to you.
Right.
And let you do what you need to do.
They're under duress.
Again,
That's
tribe
right.
versus tribe.
Right.
It's always that.
Like, I don't want to keep saying white folks, but like European folks, right? That's what they did.
Right.
So selling us the story of we are always against ourselves. No, we were taught to be against ourselves, right? We were taught to see the next black person as an enemy. And so I think, again, like we have to learn the history. We have to understand it so we don't allow the story that has been perpetrated or taught to us to dictate how we see ourselves and how we treat one another.
So it starts with a larger global love and appreciation for black people as a whole, understanding that we are one and we're the same. That boat drop should not have totally to this point. This is years later. It's like they've taught you certain things and then you're still being mind fucked 4 centuries later, right? At some point you gotta go, okay, that's what the masters wanted me to hear.
Right.
But I have to realize, I mean, think about the Haitian Revolution itself.
Yeah.
I always remind people, the Haitian Revolution was started by a voodoo priest named Boukman.
Yeah.
Where was he from?
Jamaica.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So he was a slave from Jamaica
Right. Came
who
to
was
Haiti.
sent to Haiti
Right.
and, started the Haitian Revolution in a way with that very prominent voodoo ceremony. Right. But talk to a Jamaican about voodoo.
No, yeah.
Nah, we don't do that shit.
No, we don't do that.
We don't,
And we know better. And today we know better.
And again,
It's a cultural thing.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's because of the stigma. Why do you think
Right.
voodoo's bad?
Right,
It's
because-
not. It's exactly the same as Catholicism,
Yeah.
except
Absolutely.
this one's black.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yes.
if you look at the hierarchy of angels and archangels and
Yep.
saints and all of these different, I was raised Catholic, so I understand it.
Yeah.
And I look at the parallels with voodoo. I'm like, well, it's the same
it's the
same
same
thing,
thing.
except
It's the
one is
same
black.
thing. Yeah.
So what do if you're a white person or you're a colonizer?
demonize it.
You demonize
You demonize
it,
it,
and then
yeah.
you say, "Oh, look, I'm going to make a movie and show you Serpent and the Rainbow."
Right.
So you can
I
see.
remember
Yeah,
that.
I couldn't go to school the next day.
I
That
was
shit
so
came out. I was
scared.
like, all this nonsense, man.
Yes.
You're seeing all this crazy stuff, and you're seeing demons and
Right,
zombies and all
right,
kinds of
right.
crazy stuff. You're like,
Right.
wait a minute.
Yes.
But meanwhile, there are videos all over the internet showing white Italian people dancing with Haitian garb with the whites and the reds and everything else, doing the
rituals.
the rituals, and they're just seeing it as beautiful art
Right.
and
I'm
worship.
just like New Orleans.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
You go to New Orleans, white
yeah.
folks are like, "Oh, it's great."
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
great. Like
And-
really.
But it's what I'm saying. It's all about the education, man. It's
Right,
all about
right,
what
exactly.
we learn and
Yep.
what we know and
Yep.
what we accept and what we question too.
Yeah,
Because a
yeah.
lot of people, they accept what it is. I remember I was at UPS working. I was much younger, man. And then it was around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying Merry Christmas to each other and they're leaving. And he goes, "You Haitian, you celebrate Christmas?" And I was like, "Why wouldn't I?" So he goes, "Well, because I just figure you just do voodoo and that's it." Right?
Wow.
He swear to God.
He's just a product, though. He really,
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
at that point, I was old enough to speak it to him and remind him that I said, "Have you ever heard of Simon Bolivar?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, I went back to that little piece of history and taught him who that guy is. And I
Right.
said, he's who he is because of my people and what we did
Right.
to help you be where you are right now.
Right,
Talking to
right.
you about voodoo, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
Yeah, no,
so
if you don't know, man.
Yeah.
If you don't know.
And it's hard to actually learn.
It is. It
because
is.
who's going to teach it?
Right.
Do you see that there's a deficiency with us as Southerners versus maybe Northerners in terms of the black experience and being supportive to Haitians?
what I've noticed is that the more educated people get it.
Right.
And the people who just listen to the news and just basically
Right.
says, "Oh, this is what the news is showing me." Like there was something I think it was like a year ago where there was this white reporter who was on the news and it's like, "Well, they're in Haiti, they can't eat, they can't find food."
Yeah.
And then she said, "What?
eating dirt."
They're eating dirt. They're eating the trees." She goes, "There's no more trees to eat the trees."
God.
And I was like, "How's that even humanly possible?
Right.
How is it?" Right?
I remember that the Haitians were clowning back like, "Oh, there's nothing left to eat." Then they're eating tree, like they're pretending to eat tree bark. I remember the clowning.
exactly.
Like, no, it's not that bad.
Because the kind of shit you gotta see, that's the only way you can respond to it. You're like,
Right.
what do I have to do? Like, really? We're eating trees.
It's kind of like Trump did with the president of what
Right.
was the other day? Oh, you speak Liberia. Remember the other day he was like, "Oh, you speak English.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn it?"
Where you learn English.
The
yeah.
assumption.
It's the official language, right?
You know, I love Trump. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Here we go.
No, hear me out though. The reason why is he's not scared to be a fool. Really, it's just like he just shows the ignorance, that's there in.
he
Especially for-
highlights it.
Right,
for,
right,
He,
right.
Yes.
he really does.
Totally. And just like when he went to Puerto Rico after the tornado, he was just like, he asked for their president. And they were like, "Sir, it's you."
Right. Right.
What I would say, though, to your question, I think, a lot of folks, African descent folks here, don't necessarily know who they are.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't have that foundation where you can go back and say, you know what? I'm from Haiti.
Yes.
I'm from Jamaica. I'm from Africa. Right? And so you look at yourself as Americans, but you're not really treated as Americans.
Right.
And so there is this cognitive dissonance where I'm like, well, I'm not being treated as American, but then I'm better than the black folks from the Caribbean, right? From the island, right? And so I think we have, again, like you were saying, Stefan, like we have to get to a space where we're like, you know what? Even though I've been here, my ancestors are from here, from slavery, but we're still the same. You're not different just because you're from Haiti or Jamaica or wherever else, right? So I think we have to get to a space where we can say, I am the same as you.
Yes.
How can I support you? How can we come together and make sure that we have a community that actually embrace all African descent people?
I have noticed that with people of Haitian descent, you all carry a much different level of confidence with you when it comes down to your interactions with white folk. It made me very aware that as a 70s baby, I was taught either just through cultural cues or whatnot growing up, that there is a way to act around white folks. So, meaning I became aware at an early age that we were to cast our eyes downward. For example, we were to make ourselves smaller. Don't be too loud. Don't be too scary. And that was the expectation being a child of the South. Have you all noticed a difference?
Big time.
Having not had that influence of white folks to the same, because I feel like it affected my confidence in being around them, whereas y'all out of the rip, and even as young men, were far more confident than we were, having the influences of racism and being expected to act certain ways around white men.
Big time. So before I answer your question, I know Mark wants to jump in too. You had to make yourself small. How tall are you?
So like 6'5".
You're like 10 feet,
6'5", but my kids tell me I've lost a quarter inch.
Got it.
But that was the expectation, to the extent that we had to be smaller so that we weren't scary.
That's a very interesting question.
It really is. I love it. Actually,
yeah. And here's a caveat, right? As Haitians, we're actually taught the same thing, but when it comes to adults, right? As children, you can't look adults in the eyes, right? You can't talk back, right? So there are a lot of things that we were taught based on the fact that we learned from slavery. To go back to your question, black folks here, I don't want to say your slavery ended like 50 years ago.
Did
it? Right, exactly, right? So even when we talk about Jim Crow laws, right? We talk about segregation. You still had to be protected.
Yeah.
And so your parents had to tell you, you cannot confront white folks as a way for you to be protected. You can't go here because it's not safe.
Right.
Because you black. Right?
Yes.
So it was a form of protection for you as Haitians. That ended 200 years ago.
Right.
Right? So a lot of us grew up with that pride of blackness, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we Haitians. And we didn't have that teaching where we had to be told you can't look at white folks, because we didn't have a lot of white folks in Haiti. It was just like, well, we Haitians, right?
Yeah.
So it's the teaching for you, because again, you had to be protected as a child, and parents, there were a lot of fears. Like, I don't want you to go out and not come home.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I grew up in Haiti. There was classism. And again, keep in mind, I just said earlier, like, humans will find a way to discriminate against other humans no matter what. So if it wasn't about how light your skin was, it was, in my family and the people I came up around, it was about a last name. I would have friends that, before, if they could come over and play, they would ask who that kid is, who their parents are. My grandmother would determine whether or not the person can come over here.
Right.
Because he can't come over here if he's not so-and-so. But then I never, it was 5 to 6% of whites in Haiti. Right. So we're the majority. And then there's a lot of people who are mixed. There's a lot of people from the Middle East, Syria, and places like that. So we have a mixed culture, but it's predominantly black. Right. And it had to do with who you are, what you've accomplished, also your level of education. Right. There were times in Haiti where I wasn't allowed to speak the national language, our language, at home. I couldn't speak Creole.
You were bougie, man.
Yeah. No, I didn't even mean to say yeah. I was trying to say yeah.
No, but it's true.
But true. I wasn't allowed.
Classism,
It was rude to my parents. To any adult, I could only speak French.
Right.
So Creole was rude.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Wow. I did
my
not
language,
know that.
my black language, right? The Haitian language. That's what my parents knew. Right. When my parents get together, my mother and father, if one of them could not speak French, it would not be together, because his education was up here, hers was up here, and they would get together. You would never find that mix.
Yeah.
That was a badge of honor. If he would try and talk to her and his French was messed up, she'd be like, no.
Right. You can't keep up.
You can't even have a conversation with me, so why would I talk to you?
Right.
So then coming up, I didn't speak Creole until I came to the States, or unless I was out in the streets with my friends. And if I was out and about, we all spoke Creole, but that was it. Yeah. And I got to be real careful who's hearing me.
Wow.
So even at home, that
at home,
it actually permeates, the community
stereotype, and it just breaks it apart still. Because but again, I say all that to say that my sense of, I never, ever, ever had a sense of inferiority growing up in Haiti. Right. So I come here and I run into white folks. I don't think of you as you ain't shit. Doesn't matter to me.
It's funny you say that.
Sounds awesome.
It's
I don't think of it. In fact, when I experienced racism the first 2 or 3 times, I didn't recognize it as such.
Right.
I could have been killed. My first experience, I'm walking in the streets of Almont, Long Island, and I'm carrying a bike because the wheel was broken. So me and my friend, who grew up here, terrified of white folks, because he's from Queens and he's walking in his Long Island town with me, and he's scared. And he tells me, he's like, man, I don't like this, man. I don't like this at all. I'm like, what are you talking about? I live up the street. Let's go. And this guy pulls up, almost hits us, gets out of the car and comes around. Hey, where do you live? Again, my English is so-so. I understood that. I was like, I live on Essex Road. And he just keeps hounding us. I thought he was lost. I have zero fear. I'm not understanding what's happening. My friend's over here shaking. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. The guy's lost. We need to give him directions. So I said, where do you want to go? He's asking me where.
Oh, no. You looked him dead in his eyes, too, didn't you?
So I'm like, well, you need directions? Because I'm happy because I know all these streets because, I play out here. So I'm like, this is Locust Wood, this is Essex, what do you want to know? And he goes in his trunk, gets a bat.
Oh, boy.
I still don't know what's going on because maybe he's going to help me fix the bike with a bat. So I should know better, but I didn't because I did not recognize that because I know I didn't do anything to this person. He's an adult. I'm a kid. Imagine me at 15. I weigh 90 pounds. Right?
Why would you have known?
I'm 4 feet tall. I weigh 90 pounds. I'm not a threat to anyone. So I don't think that an adult getting out of a car is a threat to me. I'm not thinking that way. Right? So it was another dude, an older white guy who saw the interaction, stops his car, gets out, and he goes and pulls this guy aside and tells him something. And the guy gets in his car and leaves. And he goes, you boys can go home.
You're about to kill a child?
But there's times in my adult life, in my 40s, where someone has been overtly racist that I just thought they were being an asshole. I didn't think that you were doing it because I was black, because I don't ever think that first. I go there second or third. My first thought is, oh, what a jerk.
I know. Same for me.
And there's one thing, too, that we're guilty of as Haitian people, big time guilty of. Like I said before, we have our own classism, right? It's who's this kid? You don't play with this kid because their last name is so-and-so. And it's like, that kid is beneath you. Right?
What are the shameful names?
The family.
No, can
we say it? Can we talk about it?
Well, no. So that's a good question. There's no such thing.
Okay.
But there were names that were associated with the people you'd run into in the capital, Port-au-Prince. And there were some names where we'd call these people mountain folks.
What does that mean?
Mountain people. We just call them mountain people. They're from the hills. They're from
like country bumpkins.
Country. Exactly.
I'd be one of those.
Okay.
And even here, when I came here, I would hear Haitians get into a scuffle and they would insult each other. And I remember one person saying to the other, he goes, the only reason you and I are having a discussion is because we're here in the United States.
Really?
He goes, in Haiti, you and I would not.
All the time in music.
All
the time in music.
I've never heard.
Like when there's an argument, that's exactly what they say.
That's their go-to.
Really?
You wouldn't even be talking to me if I wasn't in America playing in this band.
Correct.
Wow.
Because I'm the educated guy. I've got the last name. But if we're in Haiti, no, your family works for my family.
Right.
As in, you clean my house.
That is such an ignorance.
Do they call it a caste there? Do they acknowledge it as a casteism?
It's known.
It's
just known. So I used to go to Haiti often, every year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Guys, I apologize. I'm about to tell you a story.
Go for it.
Listen, first time I went to Haiti.
Tell me your white privilege story.
Well, almost. So first time I'm going to Haiti, they had to figure something out, to get me a passport. And the first time I'm going, I'm like, 17, 18, whatever. Shout out to New York All-Stars, right?
New York All-Stars.
So when the drummer couldn't go, so they got me to replace or whatever. So I'm going to Haiti. First time, I didn't know if they had fridges.
Right.
I didn't know if they had toilets. I'm like, I maybe gotta go use because
I need to bring my own bag.
They always used to tell me stories about people going in the yard,
in the
bush. Get a latrine or whatever, maybe something like. I don't know what. So when I
there's
got
some truth
there,
to it though.
I know,
Okay.
but
mountain people.
It's not.
You bumpkins.
I was fearful because I had this ignorance. It was amazing. Yeah. So sometimes I listen. I give a pass. I give grace to certain people because we don't know, right? So I get to Haiti. I'm just like, they have toilets. The fridge is dope. I didn't know I was able to order a burger, bro. When I tell you my mind was blown, and fries, and I was at Montana, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, dope ass hotel.
When I tell you,
nice.
I was blown away,
Right,
and I came back, and I was trying to tell people, but it's hard to, they think you lying.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Because
hard
of the
to
stories.
conceptualize it. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same about Africa. People used to
Yeah.
think Africa as like
Exactly.
the jungle.
Yeah,
It's a jungle.
There's no
Exactly.
electricity there.
Exactly.
Stop playing.
Exactly.
Even back to and coming to America, you learn all that shit fighting tigers and lions and shit. Where you learn all that fighting.
That's real, man.
It's true, man. The ignorance is
No, it's
crazy.
real, man. But what we're guilty of, like big time, is we carry that prejudice
Right.
in whatever form ourselves. Because when I came here, the very first thing my father told me is, "Don't you let me catch you playing with none of these little American bums."
Right.
The Black Americans
I know.
were beneath the foreigners in their minds. So that whether it be Haitians, I know it's true in the African community as well. I don't know if it's true anywhere else, but I know the Africans.
Yeah.
And again, it's older ignorance. It's not. I don't know if it's really prevalent today. But there's a lot of things that when it happens in the Black community, that the foreigners, Haitians, Africans will look at the Black Americans as if you're the cause of this. You're the reason they treat me that way. I moved to Alpharetta and there's prejudice because your Black ass came into the neighborhood and acted a fool. So it's always to blame them.
Yeah.
And I always remind them, I go, you realize the only reason you're here and you can live in that neighborhood is because all of the Black Americans who fought for this, because the civil rights wasn't from Haiti.
Right.
It wasn't from Africa, right? It was from the Dr. Kings. It was from the John Lewises. It was from all the people who did all that to allow you to be here. So be grateful. But initially, their first thought is, no, these people are different from us.
It's interesting to hear how closely aligned the conservative values were being a child of the South with you all. For example, when an adult was in the room, children were to be seen and not heard. Now, as a little boy, I didn't like that, but I was aware of it. You know what I mean? But so I hear the similarities. So it makes me wonder how much of what we got came from what you all were doing.
We were taught by the same teachers.
Yeah, same colonizers, man.
Yeah.
They had the same manuals.
Right. Because I bet everybody in here got whooped growing up.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I have an alarming number of white friends who've never been spanked.
Right.
Yeah. I'll sit to just kind of like bring it back all the way around. Like when it comes to correcting our children, I don't know what it's like today because I haven't been in Haiti. Y'all gonna laugh, but since I left, right?
Really?
So, yeah. I've been in Haiti
serious?
since 1986. I've not been to Haiti.
Wow.
Well, first of all,
You're not Haitian anymore. You gave up that card a long time ago, bro.
yeah, so I was getting whooped in school. I went to a Catholic school
Yeah.
where
That part.
that was allowed.
Yeah.
Like the teachers, they weren't abusive.
Oh,
and
somewhere.
it depends on the school, right?
Yeah.
So the school that I went to, because there was some dignitaries, children's there, they would be real careful. Like, it's like, I'm not going to beat those kids because, hell, I could disappear, so they knew who to mess with.
Right.
And it wasn't bad, but it was like, stick your hand out.
Yeah.
And they had a big piece of wood, like
Yeah.
a damn 2x4 from Home Depot, and you're going to get that
The
in
ruler.
your hand, the ruler in your hand.
Yeah.
The ruler, it was a little
Rigouaz.
thicker.
Rigouaz.
My boy was a lot thicker than the ruler, man.
Got
It was this big piece of wood, and it was just like smack.
Yep.
And there is something called dicte. What that is he would
Memorize.
the teacher would narrate something, and you'd have to write it down. He would walk around the room. He would narrate an entire 3 paragraphs.
That's French for dictation.
Correct.
Right while I talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while he was writing it down, I'm writing. We're writing
You,
it. Everything
you
down.
remember a lot.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I went to high school before I came here.
right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And then you hand that in, and then he'd correct it. The next day, he'd come back and look at how many spelling errors you made. Each spelling error is one of them licks in your hand, bro. I used to return it with 0. That's why, my spelling is on point. Because there were certain things that I was like, I didn't want to get hit.
But it proved to be effective, huh? You're a great speller.
Even in text, I was looking at this brother's text messages. I was like, he is flawless.
He's on point.
I will. Yeah, I won't shortcut things. I will use
Right,
punctuation in my text. You know, so
Right.
just bringing this all the way back around. What do you think are some of the steps that we can take forward from this point on? Whether it be unify our people, educate our people, so they understand when they see a Haitian person why they deal with certain things, why things are the way they are. Because again, people who are close to me, they'll still ask the question like, "Why is it this way in Haiti?" I'm like, I get exasperated. I'm like, how do you not know? I know. Well, okay, let me explain it to you. And then they'll still come back and, but can't y'all do this? Can't y'all do that? I'm like, not without foreign interference. There's always this foreign interference. So we're not free to do what we want to do. and we can't just take care of our country. So,
Right. Well, I think at baseline, we have to educate ourselves, not just on Haitians, but overall, right? As Black folks, we have to learn the history, whether slavery or colonialism, because the Haitian dynamic, right? The history of Haiti it's complicated. And even Haitians don't know that history. So it would be a lot to ask folks who are not of Haitian descent to learn the history and understand it and not have questions, right? There's always going to be questions. And even, to what's going on right now in Haiti, many of us don't understand it, right? Who are from Haiti. We don't know what's going on, right? Because it's so deep from, the 50s and then the 30s and then the early 1900s and the 1800s. You'd have to go all the way back to really understand why we are here, like why we are where we are now. But I think as African descent people collectively, we have to learn a sense of togetherness, right? Unity, right? Where we understand we have the same story, right? We have the same history. And so when we can get to that space, we can learn to see each other as this is my brother.
yeah.
Right? This is my sister.
Yes.
This is me from a different country. This is me from a different household, right? How do we come together, right? I don't look at you as, I don't know what, I can't remember what the word was, Stefan, you said, because you're a little Black American boy.
The bumps.
The bumps, right?
So it's the
I didn't know that. I was
Yeah.
like,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the bums, but
Right.
the accent makes them they pronounce
The
it
bum,
bum,
the bum, the bum, the bum,
don't
right?
play with the bum. Okay?
I have a new wrinkle in my brain.
Right. I don't look at you, because you're light skin or dark skin, that we're different because we get treated the same way by the European folks, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to understand that and take away this, the stereotypes, the class, the classism, the colorism, the discriminations against each other, right? And really say, I am choosing. We have to make that choice. I'm choosing to learn my history, and I'm choosing to embrace who I am as an African descent individual.
That's good.
And that way, I don't have to pretend or think that I'm better than somebody from Africa or from, a neighboring island country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because we're not.
really good.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, man. So what we do at the end of every show, we flip a coin, and then one of you guys will do an impression.
An impression of what?
An impression of, you have to read the outro notes in whoever's voice you're doing. You ready?
I gotta stop laughing.
Oh, no, we're supposed to laugh. We're definitely not going to be kind to you.
I know, right? You're getting graded.
I was about to say, what are my boundaries for
so I
response?
can read it. I need to stop laughing so I can read it.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, Mark. You're doing an Indian accent. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, go for it, bro.
Please support us by...
Let's go. I love it. let's go.
I don't know if that's Indian or
I like
some kind of
it.
Arabic accent. All right, here we go. I'm ready. Please support us by following the show. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week when we share conversations surrounding real issues we deal with every day. Manhood matters. We out.
I like it. I gotta give you a round of applause.
Listen,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I was the only one who was giggling like a girl.
That was better than mine.
Indian